All right. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Here's another day, another blessing. And I have a special guest here with us this evening, man. This is really my cousin, you know what I'm saying? But man, I'm so proud of this guy, man. He's an award-winning author, man. He do some dope poetry, man. He's an entrepreneur. He's just all around workaholic, man. I'd like to introduce to you Tariq Touré, man. How you doing? Assalamu alaikum.
Salam, I'm good, man. It's good to see you, man. You look good. Look good. I'm doing well.
Yes, sir, man. Listen, so welcome to Mental Breakthrough. I wanted to reach out to you because I've been watching you. You know, we go back for some time now, but I've been watching you, man, and I'm seeing you level up each year. It seems like, man, you just leveling up and putting in that work. But with Mental Breakthrough, I know there comes a time before each time we level up that we go through battling ourselves. You know, we go through doubt and fear, or we question. You know, we try to figure out, can we do it? And in that, I just wanted to ask you, man, just how before, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, let me, because y'all may not know who he is. Just give the people a little bit about yourself before I go deep into this conversation. You can see I'm excited. I'm ready to go in.
Right.
But just kind of share the listeners a little bit about your background and a
Sure,
little bit about, how you got started on your journey.
sure. My name's Tariq Touré. Am a graduate of Edmondson High School, West Baltimore, Bowie State University. Shout out to my Bulldogs. And
Mhm.
also Howard University. So shout out to my Bison. We Bison and we Bulldogged up. Um, I grew up in West Baltimore, in I guess we say the tail end of the crack era.
Yeah.
So that came with all this whole type of energy. But my family is it's like one half of my family is Muslim, the other family is like super holy rolling Christians.
Right,
And so
right.
we just been prayed up for a long time, and we've had a sort of a blended religious family for a long time. So it's a lot of just normalcy within our family, so that allowed me to see people in different religions get along. Like as I get older, as I get, like grew up and grew older and stuff. So and also just having a pretty big family. My father he's a retired imam, and my mother is a retired third grade teacher. And I played ball in high school, played ball for a significant portion of my life. But it came to sort of a fruition in high school where I was able to not only win a state championship at Edmondson High School, but break some records and then go ahead and earn a full scholarship to Bowie State University, where I played football there for 4 years on a full scholarship. And then after that, I went to grad school at Howard. And between all of that time, I was always into a creative lane. I was always into writing. I've been writing since I was like 7 or 8.
Right.
There's like little pity pat raps and stuff like that, but I've been consistently writing, and I did not sort of expose my writings to the world until I got to Bowie, when it was just a lot more like opportunities for people to say what they had to say, or speak. So I started expressing more of my writings there, and then like I just got a lot of support. And so just shout out to HBCUs, because I don't know if I'd have went to a PWI what I had got that push from
Mm.
folks around me. So yeah, and
Mm.
so now I'm a third three times author now, and it's been a journey, and I just been just trying to enjoy myself, and I'm a husband, father, and yeah, just a lot of things you can get into it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So there we go. I just said that because, so how is your relationship now with with your family? Moms and pops. Like, how y'all relationship now? Y'all good?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, I had an interesting sort of upbringing. I definitely say, my father, he was figuring it out on the go, like a lot of folks, and my people's just period. we coming off so much different issues and stuff like that, that it's just, you know, it's just a blessing just to have, you know, people around.
Right.
But I would say, we're okay. Yeah, I would say we
No,
are.
no, that's just good because you said so. You said you've been writing since you 7 or 8, right? And but you said so. You started writing rap back then, right?
Yeah, I would write like little like rhyming poems. I don't know if I would consider them raps, but it would be like little rhyming poems about maybe like how I ain't like the teacher or something like that, or you know, little stuff that might be going on at school. And when I got to Edmondson, I had a teacher named Miss Green in the English department who she used to really press me out about writing because she thought I had some type of talent. But I was playing ball and I wasn't really like I would write, but it wasn't like a serious thing.
You know, no, because I asked you that. You know, I asked you that because when I listen to your poetry, sometimes something what makes it unique though for me is you come at it so at some of your poetry as a battle rapper.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
has like a battle rap delivery. Have you heard that before?
yeah,
Got that before?
yeah.
Like it's how did that come? How did your style come about? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it is unique though. There's not
Yeah,
too
yeah,
many
yeah.
people who come deliver it in that way. Like where did that come from?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, there are some poems that I do that are more like monologue-ish, like they don't rhyme. But once I kind of realized like rhyming would be my pocket, I kind of just like stay within that. Like I'm a rhyme. If I'm gonna get up and say it in front of somebody, it's probably gonna end up rhyming. And I want to say DMX.
Mm,
And
mm,
DMX was a huge influence just because like the energy he had, and then Rakim, and then my older brother he used to play this song by KRS-One called The MC
mm-hmm.
over and over and over again. He should be like, this is what rap is about, like this is what
Right,
hip hop
right.
is about. And so if anybody ever listens to the MC, it's like a mini semester in like what an MC is supposed to do.
Real
And
rap.
so you know, I like battle rap too. But yeah, I just was like, you know, if I'm gonna approach it, then you know I'm gonna approach it like the people I respect. So, you know, if you hear me rhyme, you'll hear Rakim in there, like you'll hear Rakim at the end of my rhymes and delivery and how the punch at the end and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely because like just listening to him, like as far as like rhyme pattern, voice control, and all that, like he's like top tier.
You definitely got that in your
Yeah,
in your delivery. I like that.
yeah.
So let me, the one that really stuck out to me. Which one is I found God in a bean pie. Like
Oh yeah,
that was deep. You know what I'm saying? That was like one. That's like one of my favorite ones. Like
yeah,
what was the like? I don't want to say what the motivation behind it was. 'Cause it's in the name, but
yeah,
man, just kind of take me through that thought process, man, and just
yeah.
take me through that thought process there.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I started learning more and more about how many of our ancestors that was brought over here on the ships was actually Muslim. And
Yes,
because Arabic was what they what they used to study in, like that was their study language,
that was
and
the original language.
right. So that was the only universal language that they could actually talk to each other on slave ships in. So a lot of them were coming from different dialects, but if you could speak Arabic, so that was the one communal language. That's just number one. 30% of the enslaved people that were brought over here were Muslim. And
Yep.
then I learned that so in West Africa you'll see people with them like them amulet things with a little pocket in their pouch thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so um they had one of the revolts in Brazil, and so they looked in one of the amulets in one of the pouches, and in it was an ayah from a chapter in the Quran, and it was the same one that Ibrahim, and it was a prayer that Ibrahim made that his family would stay upon Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And so like me learning that, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta say something to speak to that. And I felt like starting it with I found God and the being power would make sense to people who know and like they know. You know what I'm saying? And then it would be a good grab for people to kind of be like, man, what is he talking about? You know. So I always love to perform that one because people go from like people who don't know go from like ha into the end they'd be like, oh. Like,
Right, yeah, no, real talk. That was like, man, but that was I was throughout. That was deep, and like you said, the title alone grabbed me. I'm like, dang, I thought about it. Bean pies is that good? You know what I'm saying? Only I can promote that recipe. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So that's how for me. But so let me. All right. So again, this platform, I have faith, character, patience, and love. So let me start off with your faith, man, because you said your family's big, and I want to know what is that dynamic like, or what was that dynamic like for you? You know what I'm saying, coming up, and you started studying more. You have a different ideology of things. Like, what is that dynamic like with your family? Like, I know at a point, in the beginning, you get some pushback, but then they see the results and the light, see the light you bring into the world is like, man, okay, what I get with my cousin or my son or where he going with this. So what was that dynamic like?
Yeah, well, I would say that it kind of was made easy for me because my parents had already been Muslim, but my extended family wasn't Muslim, and so they already had kind of been dealing with each other for a while. So
Okay.
by the time I came along, Thanksgiving was like, all right, it's ham and them greens over there. Don't mess with that. Like or it's turkey and yeah, you good with them over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
like one thing I always be wanting to say is there's like this narrative, like this Islamophobia amongst every American community, but like Muslims and Christians in the black community been chilling together for since we've been here. So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like it ain't been a whole bunch of beef. You get what I'm saying? Unless somebody like really stepping on somebody's toes.
right.
And whatever side of my family, and it is, everybody's been super prayed up. Like even like my mother when she said before she was Muslim, they would be Bible study Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, like
Yeah,
all that type of stuff. So like transitioning to Islam wasn't a hard jump because
yeah,
they was already super prayed up anyway. So it was sort of just made easy for me, and growing now it just man it's fairly simple, man. I think the black community can be like a example of how you get along with
yeah.
between faiths and stuff like that. Unless you like I don't know, like you gotta be like the Hebrew Israelite or something like that for it to be like beef, because they be zapping.
And you know what it is? It be the media, man. Like I say, man, really, real talk, man. A perfect, or ain't no perfect, but a good Christian or perfect Christian is the perfect Muslim, and vice
Yeah.
versa. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So I get that. So, but my thing is, I just want to know, like, okay, you on this journey now, and like you're one of the trailblazers now. You know what I'm saying? This new generation that's like as in the storytelling lane. But like, where I want to know, like, how have this faith carried you along so to this point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because you in order to do what you do, you have to have faith. One would think. So how
yeah,
has faith carried you along so far?
yeah. Well, one of the things was that after like realizing, I got to see the light early, like regarding football. Like I got to see the light early. Like so
Yeah,
when I was blessed, I was very blessed to be able, my coach, he had gets tell us to scrape up whatever money and change we could get, and he would take us to different camps and stuff with like 5-star players and all that.
yeah, yeah,
And so from the jump, being there with them, like, if I'm on the field, I can compete and things like that. But I don't think, unless you've been around kids, and when that's any sport, basketball, football, everybody's went to school with a kid that like, all right, this person is elite. He sticks out like a sore thumb, basically.
yeah, yeah.
So going to them camps and stuff like that, I kind of like I sort of like I wasn't delusional, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, okay. Like I went to Maryland camp with the Haytons.
Hmm.
Like so I see Joe Hayden, I'm like, that's different.
Yeah, that's a gift right there.
That's a bit different. Okay, all right. So that continued to happen. And I'm saying all that to say is that like I had always thought in the back of my head, like what is for me, And so one of the prayers that I've been making for a long time in my life, for years and years and years, is like, God, clarify my path. Allah,
Hmm.
clarify my path.
Hmm.
I ain't saying give me a leg up. I don't want sort of an easy path, anything like that. I take whatever bumps and arrows through the chest I gotta take, but at
Right.
least make it clear where I gotta go.
Right. Right.
And so there were many times in writing, performing, storytelling, and creating where I could have been like, man, forget this. Like, man, people ain't feeling my work. Like,
Yeah.
and I just kept having that faith because I feel like if Allah wanted me to be delusional, He wouldn't have shown me those people in a
Right.
time and
Right.
period in my life where literally everybody around me was kind of delusional. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
like
get that.
people, especially if you had, sometimes the Division II school can mess your head up so much because you just don't get to see. You don't get to see the guy who's 250 pounds, 6'4", and running a 4.4
Exactly.
40 all the time. If you
Yep.
got a bigger school, that's every day. You get to chill with him in
Yep.
the gym, that, but you don't get to see that every day. So we be
Right.
sitting there like, yo, I'm going to the league. I just be like, I don't know, yo. Like, I don't want to doubt you, but it's tough, So
Yeah.
we got to find our pockets. So I took a lot of bruises, and I say all that to say is that what made faith brought me to the fact that I was like, I know Allah is putting me in this pocket. I know
Hmm.
He's steering me this way.
For a
My
reason.
set of experiences and my inherent talents are pushing me so that one day I'll be able to convey certain realities to people. And so I
Hmm.
just like stuck with it and stayed prayed up on it. And then certain things started to like come more easier to me.
Right.
And the
Right.
things that come easy to me now are things that I bit the bullet on a long time ago, and
Hmm.
didn't quit, and didn't try to live a fantasy. Like, I think we just really need to lean to the gifts that God give us.
Right. 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 That's what I'm saying. That's definitely key. You know what I'm saying. So like, what was that? I guess what was that conversation like? Did you have that you said you always prayed, but when it was that vision was pretty much clear for you, did you have another conversation with like, all right, whew,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I know for
yeah,
me, I had to have that conversation, like, man, stuff's about to get real, but
yeah,
I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Then now I'm on autopilot. Like,
yeah.
what was that conversation for you like?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you one of one of the I want to say the toughest part for me, just after like realizing like, okay, things are starting to like open up, was that I could no longer sort of fly under the radar in mediocrity.
Mm.
And so the
Ooh,
conversation
ooh,
was
expound on that, please. Expound on that, please.
meaning that, like, if Allah give you an opening, right, then that means you're going to have to go 150 miles per hour now, because anything less might not expose the light that you're supposed to be exposing to the rest of the world when you get that opening.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, if the door is cracked, you gotta kick it open.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's crazy. Yep.
you gotta go full throttle, because you might miss out on that moment. You might
Mm.
miss out on that opportunity. And what was I saying? So like, for me, it was like, all right, I can't be mediocre. I can't be mediocre. I have
Mm.
to. I would ask. No, this is what I ask. Not only just make it things clarify, but please, like, give me the energy. Like, I need the energy to be able to strive forward, right?
Right.
And then like, you know, something that, you know, we always say as Muslims, like put barakah in our time, put blessing in our time. Because I mean, yo, if you come from where we come from, you dealing with family stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my family stuff was like a mess 6 months ago. Like you already know, like, it can go
Yeah.
south. Your whole summer will be done. You ain't doing nothing
Easy.
crazy. You ain't making no business moves. You ain't, or you trying to handle this cousin over here to handle whatever the case may be. So I just always like put blessing in my time. Whenever I find time to do something, I need you to triple my output.
Right. Real talk though.
Quadruple my output, because I don't know if I'm going to have as much time as somebody else that may not have all these. Yeah, you don't know what your phone might do on any given day, bro. You already know. So it's like
That's interesting. So like, what is? Let me ask you, like, you know, coming from Baltimore, man, like, what is, you know, what is the state of Baltimore like now? You know what I'm saying? And then like, what is it, you know, for you, like in your storytelling, like how much does Baltimore mean for you? But you reaching back and helping uplifting the community with your you know, with your storytelling. Like, what does Baltimore mean to you?
Yeah, Baltimore means a lot, man. It means everything. So my family, we're now in Detroit. We've been here since June, and so like that was even a tough move for me, because I was like, moving from home.
Ooh.
But Detroit is so much like Baltimore. It's like it's just people have different accents. I would say that, you know, it's pockets in Baltimore, it's pockets in that area, you know, that the resilience of the people is just something that you can just, you know, you can taste and feel, and the energy is palpable of just the uglinesses that have happened there as soon as you cross that line and go in there. But also when you get down and you talk to people, you see the people that have been surviving and thriving. And I think me growing up and having that experience and spending most of my life in that experience, it's given me the blessing of a chip on my shoulder.
Real talk though. It's interesting you say that, because you not to cut you off, but in your poetry though, like I said, like you did it like a battle rap delivery, but I could see that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So matter of fact, let me ask this because of that. What is your end goal? You don't have to give too much, but like, what is your end goal? What do you want to accomplish with, you know what I'm saying, your poetry and your writing your books and just telling the story? Like, what is the end goal for everyone? Because it's bigger than you. So, you know.
Yeah. So for me, I would like to put more of my words into manuscript, you know, in books. That's just number one. Like I want to put more of my work into manuscript and books. I eventually would like to do some fiction as well.
Okay.
And so, but that's, you know, that's a battle, man. Just because the amount of creativity that it takes to power a novel is insane. So,
more power to you.
yeah. So I would like to do that. I would like to do some plays, you know, sooner or later. And really, for me, this is an endless tunnel, because I made a decision a while ago that my daily life will be surrounded around documenting and archiving a moment in history through my ability. And so for as long as I live, I'll be doing that. And when I look at the people, you know, that I maybe look up to, the Murray Barakas, you know, the Maya Angelou's, these people, they didn't really have a cap. They more so had like just a habitual, just like regimen of just pumping stuff out. And so that's kind of like what the, you know, when it's all said and done, I always say that I want to be like one of them, like you come across somebody's music and you hear one song and you be like, oh man, I gotta look up dude, and then you look at and then you see he got 38 albums. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You just be swimming in their work for like the next 2 months. I want my work to be like that. I want
so you want to work until alive relieve you off your post. So
exactly.
I'm with you. So you know what I'm saying? You know, just to ask about the poetry, the industry per se. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's a whole world once you win it, it's it's a lot that we don't know from the outside. But talk a little bit about the poetry world and where do you see it going moving forward? Because at one point, like you said, when DMX did that poetry jam, man, that poetry was dumping. You had Love Jones and that happened. It was a mainstream thing, but then for somewhere along the line, it kind of from the mainstream eye, if you would, I guess it kind of dipped off. So what happened, and where is it at now? Like is it just underground strictly, or like where do you see it moving now?
Right. Well, what was a blessing, and I always say that when I talk to people who've been sort of in the slam world and slam poetry, is that like by me playing ball, I ain't never really get an opportunity to be in nobody's slams. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, man, I was
exactly,
slam.
Yeah. right.
So that in itself has protected me in a few ways. One, I had to figure it out on my own. I had to figure out how to book shows. I had to figure out how to write, and I had to figure out. Actually, it gave me my own cadence, to be honest with you. So it's like I don't sound like people that's on button poetry or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like I just by default, I wasn't able to be in those circles to pick up on the cadence and how some of them sound alike and stuff like that. So that helped me, and so I had to literally like sort of build an infrastructure on my own to be able to platform my work.
Right.
I had already known a lot of people since playing ball. Like, that kind of gave me an ability to move in a couple different circles. But what I believe, I mean, I can't really speak for the slam world. I'll speak about sort of just the world of poetry altogether. I would say that if poets, and which is why I've been like filming more cinematic stuff on my own.
I see that.
Yeah, if poets are able to find different ways to convey their work, then poetry will survive. And I think it's gonna survive, period. But not to like the height level of what things are, but if we were able to find it, I write anywhere, write on the street sign, write on the jacket, write on some socks, write in a book, write in the Instagram post, put the poetry everywhere so that it's so in people's face that they can't deny what's happening.
Right.
And I think that it will survive in that fashion. And I think if poets are supportive of each other, then they'll be fine. We can't ask people to care about our work if we don't care about our work.
Exactly.
And we just got to be, we got to be very serious. And that's another thing that Baltimore helped me with is that like you gotta have a hustler's mentality if you want your art to survive. You know what I'm saying? So
for real, Baltimore, man. Listen, one thing I know about Baltimore, you know what I'm saying, and I miss Baltimore. I ain't gonna lie to you. One thing I know about Baltimore, man, you gotta hustle.
You got to hustle.
You want to get it.
Yeah, you got
for real.
you got to hustle, and so I mean, I feel like that's the sort of the energy, black folk anywhere that ain't had a lot, and so so I looked around, and I was saying to myself, well, I got kids to feed, so I number one got to get my art to a level where people enjoy what I got to say.
Right.
But number two, it's like after you enjoy it, help me be able to, nourish my body so I can be strong enough to stand up here and deliver what I'm doing. So
real rap. Like I said, you're trailblazing it. Like, what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not tapped in with everyone in the industry, but I know, because I love poetry, but from my point of view, man, you're hitting with the cinematic thing. It's a different angle, and that's why I feel like you're trailblazing in it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, speak a little bit on the character you must have, because I want to ask this: what is the politics like being in this? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it Is it like the music business to where, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to be your own team. Like you said, you did it that way. But for ones coming up behind you, do they have to be their own team, or
Yeah.
do you form a team? Do you have a
Mm,
manager, or
mm,
you know what I'm saying? What is again that
yeah.
the politics like? You know, for those who don't want to see you win in that circle.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's crazy is just this past 2020 is the first is I hired like my first bookings like manager. And so I have been just getting out of the mud on my own for so long that I was reluctant to do it, but I just
Mm.
you can't do it on your own. Like you just can't. Um I did a that same program that I did I found God in a Bean Pile on. I had two other young poets with me. And
Okay.
so um those are young, you know, the younger poets. And so I made it a point when Al Jazeera hit me up to you know basically say like, yeah, you know, I think your idea is really good, we're gonna run this program. I was like, okay, all right, well, I got two other youngins that you know they colder than me, like they
Right.
can get it in. And so the politics of it are, I would say, when I first stepped in, I ain't know nothing, so I'm just straight, you know, straight from around the way trying to get it together. But people in slam have an issue with people who are not in slam at
Mm.
times, right? They're like, oh, you ain't compete, you ain't, you know, whatever the case may be. And for a little bit, I was like, damn, man, do I gotta do a slam like that? And then I looked at it, I was like, nah, that ain't me.
Right.
Like, nah, like, you know, I'm a pretty laid back guy, man. Like, you know, I'm to think that I would go through 20 years of my life having to prepare on Saturday to give people concussions or to get a concussion or, you know what I'm saying, or inflict pain on somebody, to think that I would be doing that to get prepped for a Saturday to scream in the mic just ain't sound too appetizing to me.
Right.
And so like I'm like, man, I paid my taxes like in blood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think pulling younger poets along, you know, that was the biggest thing for me, was that like, all right, if I got platform here, I mean, even when I released my first book, you know, I didn't have a whole bunch of money, but I paid the younger poets that came the most they had ever been paid to be actually performed.
Right.
So like, just off the strength, like,
Yeah.
I need you to know what this tastes like when somebody
Right.
look out for you. And because you know what that tastes like, you're gonna do that for somebody else.
Right.
And so that's, I think that can kind of kill the politics of it. And that was
Mm.
just another side. But that's like, you know, that's like an OG around the way type of, you know, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull you along type of thing.
And that's how it
That,
should be.
yeah, you know, wasn't really, I don't know if it was introduced wholesale to everybody, but I'm just like, off the strength, I'm going, like, I'm going to do that because, you know, you keep passing along. So I think um where it's going, if people continue to do things like that, that was somebody like D Watkins, you know, just writing, he did that for me. You know, he was one of
Okay.
the first
Cool.
people
Cool.
who, like, yo, I mean, you know, he helped me how to become an immensely better storyteller. Just off the strength. He ain't know me
Right.
from a can of paint. He's like, oh, you from West Baltimore, from over east? Yo, we gonna link up. And so like he his grandfathered a lot of folks into the game. So
That's good.
so you know, just passing on that way. And you don't have to be in sort of any program, click, anything like that. Just be like a good human being.
Right. Real talk, man. These, you know what I'm saying? Those just, you know, good keys and ingredients to get, you know, to level up, man. Whatever, and that's what whatever industry, man, you went for real, for real. So, you know, let me transition to, you know, because now, you know, you got a long little resume now, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You got short film awards, you
yeah,
got, you know, award for best author, you know, HBCU top 30.
yeah,
Post. I see you in the Bottom magazine. Like,
yeah.
you know, let me talk about patience. Like what was your patience like in the beginning, and then where you at now? Like, how do you view patience, and how important is it to have patience? You know what I'm saying? In order to, you know, just where you at now. Like, how important is to have patience? What I'm asking.
Yeah, you know, the key thing that stuck out to me when you said beginning, because I think about the beginning as I wasn't good, but there was a spark. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had some garbage stuff I was putting it out, but it was a spark there. You know what I'm saying? The fire wasn't lit, but
Right.
trying. You know what I'm saying? Shorty was
Right.
trying. If I see you that you diligent, then yeah. And so what I mean by diligent is, so, and this may even reflect on the rap game. Diligent mean you spend 7 days a week trying to get your tape in the hands of whoever, or
Okay.
get in front of whoever to spit your rhyme.
Yep.
Diligent means you
Yep.
go in the bat cave and you get better, so that you're 40 times more prepared when that opportunity presents itself. And when they finally say, all right, yo, go ahead and say what you got to say, you just look like you coming from Mars, because you just like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, they must have had Shorty locked away. Like, you can tell.
Right. Oh, don't do it.
So with patience was that I knew that I had to get better. I knew that I had to get better. I knew a spark was there. Like, I had the words, I had the stories that I wanted to tell, but I hadn't developed um sort of like the fundamental skills necessary
Right.
to convey. I was like a wild boxer. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was out there like Deontay
You
Wilder.
just, yeah, you just raw talent.
Yeah. So for instance, if if it was 20 lines of a poem, 9 would be like, woo, did he just put that together? Right? And
Mm.
then the other 11 would be like, so,
Right.
and so, like Fab said, don't take a bar off. And so that was my whole goal, to get to that level where no bar is taken off, like
Right.
no, and I'm still reaching for that, but I'm better at it now. And so it took patience and like literally writing as much garbage poems and writing as possible, and then pulling them fine jewels out. And so everybody doesn't have the patience to sit there. And also, to be honest, some people they don't got the fortitude to take criticism in that way either. Like, they think it's
Yeah.
ridicule. You know what I mean? Like, and if you got somebody who really know what they talking about, and they really seen some things, and they know how it's supposed to sound, like, they got a good ear.
Mm-hmm.
I never shied away from that. Like, I'll be like, all right, cool. I just try again. I just try again. But some
Right.
people, they hear that and it's like nails across the chalkboard. Like,
You know what I'm
like,
saying? Like you hating. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like what?
Yeah. I get that. I feel that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
like,
you
who
know
has
what
the
I'm saying?
time to hate on you? Like, you know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm saying? But that comes with, you know what I'm saying? So that comes with, for let me say then, that comes with maturity and growth. You know what I'm saying? And you have to really be mature to a certain part to take all that criticism in, because even in people who do hate, because it's people who do hate, you can find truth in their criticisms
Mm,
somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You just, you know what I'm saying?
mm.
You can find truth in their criticism, but you know what I'm saying? I think that's very key. You know what I'm saying? Having that patience with it. So it seemed like for you, you was already had patience back then, like, 'cause you just knew. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, you got it young already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus, you got brothers, you got big cousins, like, they say whatever to you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, in front of company, your cousin might be like, boy, you pee in the bed, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So it's like you used to getting humbled, you know what I mean? So it's
yep.
like, oh, this ain't nothing new. Like, oh, I just got to fix these couple lines. All right, whatever, sure, no problem. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so
So
it's easier.
like now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a new age, right? So, like, one's coming up behind you, because I'm saying you're doing different things, but it's still from the same, root, if you would. Like,
Mm,
how are you able to, get to the point where you can, monetize your gift now? Because,
mm.
what I'm saying, people coming up, they think, it's COVID, I can't get on stage no more. You know what I'm saying? So, how are you able to still monetize your gift? You know what I'm saying? Like now.
Yeah, I would say that um, find one or two things that you know that, one, it don't feel like work when you doing it. You just enjoy. You just enjoy it. To something that sort of just comes a bit easier to you. You know, so if you're sitting in a classroom and somebody be like, man, yo, I'm gonna do everything, but I ain't mess with that math work. And if you don't feel them on that, and you're like, oh, I do it, there might be a little pocket for you. You know, like it might be something for you. So if you're having those types of conversations and you don't feel the same anguish as somebody else about doing a certain particular thing, then you might be in that pocket. You can explore that pocket. And so for me, everything stemmed from writing. So like writing is the base. Storytelling is the base.
So let me ask you. So that's where you love, because you kind of just segue right into my last pillar.
Yeah.
So that's where your love, right? That's your love writing. Boom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have okay, continue to build on that, but just kind of explain more about the importance of love, because even though you love it and it comes easy to you, man, just like I always say this, it's simple, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
Like it's hard work, man, for real. Like so many people get depressed because of the work is so hard, and then they quit and give up. You know what I'm saying? But that love, you'll run through a brick wall because you love something. You know what I'm saying? So kind of continue to unpack. You know what I'm saying? The love you have for writing.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, you gotta have that love for anything. And so the other thing is that that love, you also can't let it blind you. And what I mean is that, so like for instance, I posted a kid's it's like a 9-minute documentary about one of the kids that he was about 3 years under me at Edmondson, my high school. His name is Stanton Kidd, and he's about to return to Turkey. He's 27 years old for I want to say maybe his 6th or 7th pro overseas season in basketball. And so he's always been very transparent about his journey and hooping. And you folks you grow up where you go to school with, they'll treat overseas like somebody did something, like you failed or something like that. Like you gotta wait from here for a little while. You gotta see some things. Like that's a beautiful thing. And I say all that to say is that don't let love blind you from a pocket. One of the things that a mentor once told me is, he said, Jay-Z is cool, but Pusha T is better. And I'm like, what? Like
yeah.
He said Jay-Z couldn't go to 7-Eleven, grab a Slurpee, some Funyuns, and walk out and mind his business, right? And he said Pusha T can probably have access to some of the same comfortabilities and amenities that Jay-Z have, but he can walk in Walmart and most likely get his stuff, walk out without people harassing him and all that type of stuff.
Right.
And so that always made me think about, I don't need to be trying to reach for fame and all these types of stuff. I can still be very human. And so that love and me not letting that love blind me, will force away all of these sort of quote unquote opportunities that may come, or I may think I need to go for, and all of that. And I'm saying, like, yo, you got to have a real tight pocket, tight infrastructure. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, Currency is another great example. Like, he can walk around and mind his business.
Right.
He's a millionaire. Like, I mean,
right.
So you want to be like cool on your end. And so one of the things in our community that we have to work on is that, okay, if Shorty is a rapper, all right, if he's a rapper and he doesn't end up on the BET Awards, why are we calling this young lady, or whatever the case may be, a failure?
Right.
Why are we treating her?
Right.
They did a show, maybe 3 states nearby, had, I don't know, 2,000, 5,000 people there. You selling the tickets, you break down the money, that's good money. Like, why do we? And so, because we don't have these sort of levels in our community, it's either like fly or die.
Right. So how do we?
Discouraging. I'm sorry.
How do we change now? I mean, I somewhat see the paradigm is changing a little bit though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I do believe, like you know what I'm saying, the field you went now with poetry, that's about to get back into the forefront. I do
Oh yeah.
believe that the time is, you know what I'm saying, is the way the world going right now is time is for that. But how do we change that? You know what I'm saying? Being in our positions now to where instead of the enemy tells us is cool or whatever they portray, you know, this should be your leader or this should be your icon. How do we change that to where, you know, real intellectuals are the cool ones now? It's like who we should be looking up to. How do we change that you know, mentality within our community?
I think old head OGs, whatever the case may be, they gotta learn how to like gracefully step away and let people rise or guide people in a certain way, because whether we like it or not, the more you get older, the more softer you get to the blow of what they say is cool, whatever,
Right.
like. And so young people might have a more fresh perspective on stuff, and so we gotta become real comfortable with like getting out the way, because the youth, they bring their own energy and they bring some new perspectives.
Right.
They definitely young and silly and goofy as all outdoors, but we gotta be able to like steer that, and then
Yep.
that can't really happen unless you make a conscious decision to guide them as best as possible. And so this is super off topic, but even like with the kid 6ix9ine, like all that with him and how kids perceive, kids don't see nothing wrong with he like did and all that. And it's like
Yeah.
maybe if older people within certain industries didn't try to hold the reins for so long and milk so many kids through that conveyor belt, they would have had the time to step away, and they would have been known to be. We have known that, okay, these OGs are over here for a reason, and they're there to advise, and that's their function. But we trying to be in the video too and to advising, and then Shorty looking at like, man, you in here with me, like, why should I believe what you saying?
Right. Real
So,
talk.
yeah, we sort of that elders council type of vibe. I think that's the way, we sort of steer the culture in the way it needs to go. Yeah, when you're a young man, you really gonna have to like wow me to get my attention. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
So
difficult as having you be sitting right next to me in the club.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like I said, I think that old way of thinking, that old world is about to get washed out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I listen, man. I wanted to reach out to you because I see you as one of these trailblazers that's in this struggle, this fight, that's pushing this new paradigm, and new thinking, man. And
Mm.
you know, I just want to say thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Yeah.
You in my prayers. You already know what it is.
Yeah. Same, man. Same.
You know, so you know, just before we get out of here, man, just one little last message you have for, you know, the youngers like you spoke about that's coming up behind you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just what certain moves can they make moving forward? You know, with this pandemic. You know what I'm saying? To let their light shine for the world. Like, what moves can they be making?
Well, what I would say is that what I would say is that a lot of people will say what you're looking for is in you. And that's very true. That's very true. The process of finding that spark that's within you, unless you just super blessed up, is going to be very rigorous, very defeating at times. It's going to be points where you think you done got an ounce of just love for whatever in you, and then you're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper. And as you dig anywhere else, in the world, you dig deeper, you find more richer soil. And so you start to bring
I like that.
you start to bring that soil to the top of your life. and you start to realize, all right, I just went through the process of digging deeper. Not only did I hit better soil, I hit more water. Okay, so you might hit water, you might hit oil, whatever the case may be. You brought that soil to the top. The things that you plant thereafter are going to be nourished a lot more than if you just decided to plant seeds on, you know, the first level top.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to be more well fed. And after that process, man, you can just shake the seeds up like dice and just toss them.
Man, real right.
Become stuff because the soil is so rich, you know. But you got to get up every day as best possible and sort of turn that soil, you know, like farmers do. And I would say fall in a deep love with that. Fall in a deep, insane love affair with developing the soil of your life. And everything else would be extra. I have a hoodie on, and this is just like material merchandise, and I can get into just the richness of life. I have a spirit on right now. Before I get to this hoodie, I have a spirit on right now that some days they are dark, some days they are light, but there's always this hope and faith that I try to my best to maintain, and that is maintained. So that's number one. But just speaking artistically, this brand is greater than the sword. I ran this brand for maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or something like that. The paintings behind me are what I painted. My new children's book is right here.
Where can I get that? Where can everybody go get that?
DavidDollar.com. You can pre-order. I have a little bit more pre-orders right here. My art is around me, but it you know, it's around me in this room. Poems that I've written that, you know, the people buy from me now. I just say all that to say is that had I not taken it very seriously about building my soil, which is writing, and now branching into more arts, if I said, hey, I'm gonna write a children's book, I don't think people would have taken me seriously. But because it's such a difficult process and people see that you're going through that, they're like, okay, I can believe in that. If he's going for that, then it must be a serious endeavor, you know. And so I would say
real talk, man. Hey, listen, bro. Let everyone know your website where they can get, because all your stuff is there.
Yeah. So people can they can reach me at TariqTouré.com. On Instagram and all other platforms is Tariq Touré. TariqToure. You can buy my new children's book, which drops October 7th on davidsdollar.com. It's about a young man who spends $1 and asks his father where that dollar goes in the community, and his father shows him where it goes in the community. You can buy so I have a brand dedicated to writing. So it's called Greater Than the Sword. So you can go to greaterthanthesword.com to buy one of these cool hoodies or something else. And then all the rest of my stuff, you know, you can support my work so I can continue to keep on doing this work that I'm doing. And you know, most importantly, please support this podcast. That's the platform.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, well, I hope everyone heard that and soaked in, man. Thank you very much for connecting with me. You know what I'm saying? You definitely brought value, man. So you listen, man. Listen, you got my prayer. Keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? We're behind you over here, so you already know what it is.
All right, but you be safe out there, man.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Hey, man. You know, I'm gonna reach out to you, man. Because listen, I told you, I've been doing this writing thing, but
yeah. Let me know, man.
Right,
it's a boxing match.
right. All right, man. So, man, enjoy the rest of your evening, man. So, I'm gonna get up with you later.
All right, bet.
All right, peace. Yes, sir, man. That was